Travis Wayne Goodsell. Yesterday, YouTube had an ad while I was going over the news that says, "Meet women from Ukraine today." Meet involves one-on-one physical contact. It's not chat with, so that it could be an AI program trying to get me to think that I'm having a conversation with a real human being when it's not. Nope, this is meet women from Ukraine today. Begin a genuine chat, wait a minute, with a thoughtful woman. No pressure, just connection. And then it's got an AI blonde girl. She's a little older. Honest talks, real women. Visit the site. Sponsored by Amor Meat. So when you click on it to report on it, it says the advertiser identity verified by Google. The advertiser paid for by Astricsoft Projects Ltd. Location, Cyprus. This is a sex trafficking scandal or a phishing scheme. Paying YouTube through Google. It's verified. It is a fraudulent product. So, you guys hear about in the news last week about protein powders and shakes containing lead? Well, YouTube. Transparent Labs grass-fed protein powders and shakes. Advertiser identity verified by Google. Paid for by 84401 Newfoundland and Labrador Incorporated. Dog. Canada. Oh, Canada. We're at war with Canada. They won't submit to be in the 52nd state. Gaza chose to be the first. Canada is trying to poison Americans through YouTube. Now on Israeli news, $178 per month for $25,000 home equity loan. It's got a nice blonde. Is she from Ukraine? AI image, obviously. Advertiser identity verified by Google. Paid for by Lendgo Incorporated, United States of America. This is a credit loan scam. There will be people who will be suckers and losers who will click on it. And that's the tragedy of this, is that people trust YouTube. And they get conned by YouTube because YouTube needs the money in order to stay in business. They can't do it for free, especially now that Google took over. Google is on the stock market. So YouTube's success helps Google's stock price. Who's the major stockholder in Google again? Do we even know that information? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So KSL yesterday 20 hours earlier, which means Saturday night, before midnight, so that they can go to bed and not work on Sunday. That's the way it is for KSL. Sunday edition. New presidency now in place for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Really? Saturday night? I thought it was Tuesday last week. This is an extra unnecessary video. You know, they could have done Sunday wrap-up, but you notice they do put Sunday, even though it was on Saturday for Sunday. Get over yourselves. Just put Saturday edition. God. Oh, wait, we got some text stuff here. President Dallin H. Editor was officially called and accepted the title as the new prophet for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Was officially called. Where in scriptures does it say that the president of the Quorum of the 12 is to become the president of the whole church? Where? Find it. And sadly, despite this con, just like on YouTube advertising, there will be people who will fall for this con. Oh, Travis! Oh, you sneaky person! If you're not smart enough to catch it, somebody needs to warn you to save your life. And then that'll only cause more rebellion in you to stay faithful in the church and get burned for Armageddon. Good job. Good job. Your pride caused your fall. Church is true, Travis. Join or die. Order of Nehor, Alma chapter 1. There are a number of prophetic commandments by the Brighamite branch off that directly violate the words of the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants. Directly violate. They are nowhere to be found. There are prophetic commandments that contradict the commandments given in the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants. And there are commandments that are nowhere to be found in Scripture at all. They made it all up. Those who left the church know at least some of them, because that's why they left. Whether it be church history, whether it be Scripture errors by the prophets, etc., etc., etc. But the bigger question is, why aren't Mormons who are staying Mormon smart enough to catch any of this and leave the church? Why are Mormons playing dumb, or are they dumb? It is a question that is very disturbing. It is a sociological study that you can never get the answer to because Mormons won't tell you the truth. Just like the leaders of the church won't tell us the truth. How can you get through to a person who alters reality in their own brain, who isn't living on planet Earth, who speak words and you have no idea what the hell they're saying? They are not normal people. So, on Saturday, there was the Holy War. Not necessarily Armageddon. Every year in Utah is the big football game between the University of Utah and BYU. And local news always said that, can the U of U finally defeat BYU? Well, they've defeated them several times, multiple times over the decades. If you're talking about this year, you should have put in this year. Undefeated this year, BYU. How can U of U stop them? That would have been the better wording. Nonetheless, there was a big tragedy that occurred with the local news on Saturday, covering Saturday. There was also a No Kings protest in Salt Lake City. KUTV2 and KSL refused to report on it. No kings, la 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 la. Fox 13 News had 2 articles covering the No Kings protest. ABC 4 only had 1, the token one. This is what's going on in our world, in our nation, in our state. The press are suppressed on purpose because of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Last night, I posted about China cracking down on Christian religions. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints claims to be Christian. Several months back, I covered the news about how China shut down the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Beijing. The church lied to China, secretly had Mormons in China violating the laws of China concerning organized religion in China, had an underground Mormonism in China. Mormons who stay Mormon think that that's acceptable behavior, ignoring the Article of Faith. We believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, and obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law. China doesn't want Christians. So a Mormon who's Chinese living in China is automatically illegal. So you as a Mormon, Chinese, living in China, now have a serious problem. You're illegal. What are you going to do about it? You stay in China and create an underground movement? That's an insurrection coup that violates Joseph Smith's Wentworth letter. And this was taught to you by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints prophets. Stay where you are. Build up the kingdom where you are. Wait a minute, I thought you were supposed to obey the laws of the land wherever you are. Again, there are some prophetic commandments that directly violate the scriptures. And it happened in China, and now they got busted, along with other Christian groups. Mormons who stay Mormon are upset with China over this. Because the church is true, China needs to repent and come unto Jesus. No! Leave China alone. China should also stop leaving their people alone by surveillance state techniques. But that's another issue. One that the government of the United States is supposed to negotiate with China for. That's why we have a federal government. It is not up to the individual person to go and attack China to get them to conform and comply to your will. And this is what I exposed with Oakes's leaks. Specifically, the Boise rescue. Oakes confesses there is no Jesus. And of course, Mormons don't want to accept this. And so they only hear when he says, get it popped up. Choclia, 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 choclia. I paid attention in anatomy class in high school. Utafagva and oleodendroglia. Mormons only hear, of course, apostles are also witnesses of Christ, just like all members of the church who have the gift of the Holy Ghost. It means Jesus isn't real. It means that he, as the new president of the quorum of the 12 First Presidency, gets inspiration in his brain. And he tells Mormons it's from Jesus. It's proof that Jesus exists. Did you not listen to him this past week? That's what they mean. That's what Irene meant. He's changed. He's a different person. He's not the same person I married. I mean, exactly the same type of thing. When you're dating somebody, you put on your best behavior because you want to trick them into marrying you, or at least continuing a dating relationship. You lie. Because for some reason you don't think they're going to like you for who you are. And so Irene was perpetuating that social faux pas with the church to get Mormons to be faith promoting in their bubble burstings. No, he didn't change. He's the same old person. He's now the one in charge. That's where it's different. Before, he wasn't in charge. He needed to keep his place and shut up. Now he's in charge. Now he gives orders. That's the only difference. And so Mormons will miss that the apostles, including the first presidency, are witnesses of the name of Christ. And by that they mean Jesus Christ. It's in the center of the name. And so Mormons don't catch this is not to witness of a personal manifestation. That a witness of Christ is a spiritual manifestation, not a personal or physical manifestation. Know Jesus. You are supposed to get the feeling, which is called the Spirit, and that is Jesus. And you don't see the con, huh? You don't see how this makes the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints no different than all of the thousands of other Christian sect break-offs. They're just another Christian church that Joseph Smith condemned as all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. Verse 19 in the first vision, in case you didn't know where that is from. There will be, and there are, Mormons who have been conned by this. This was never to be leaked. This was specifically to those Oakes and Turley went to condemn. And yet, Mormons believe in the con. They continue to threaten others who don't accept their alternate reality. If you are not in the physical reality, you are in an alternate reality. The emergence of Christianity started this crap. With Roman Emperor Constantine in the First Creed as anti-Jew. That's what he did it for. Rome had a very difficult time for those 300 years to fully exterminate the Jews. They couldn't do it. So he created Christianity as the new Roman emperor. And he knew the religion. He knew the calendar dates and clock times of the Jewish authors' prophecy and revelation scriptures. Cairo. He replaced it. The Russian Tsar. He was a very evil man. and yet venerated by Christians as the first great saint of Christianity. There is a danger coming. Because once you're able to fool a people like Oakes has done, and now is the leader of the church, giving the orders, the people are groomed sufficiently for sacrifice. Jim Jones, don't drink the Kool-Aid, taste the holy water. Very tragic situation where a senator is assassinated along with his daughter. The reason why the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not get shut down like other cult groups that form, and this is beyond a cult group, Exfo Nevermos are not accurate when they talk about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You're still throwing softballs at the church, even though you think you got them. No, this is a satanic death cult, guys, called an occult. Satan worshiping is occult. O-C-C-U-L-T. Not a simple C-U-L-T of Christianity. Yes, Christianity has always been a cult. But again, you're going to have those people who refuse to live in reality. Science, logic. Because if you set this up as a logical formula, you would realize how horrifying this is. And how Karl Marx is right. Religion is the opiate of the masses. You can control other people's behavior through religion. Because there's a sucker born every minute. Barnum and Bailey, circus people. I think it was just the one of them who said that. And so people play that and think that they've got people fooled, but no. You know, you're not a sucker if you're curious to see the bearded lady. It's so gross, I can't look away. We all know how it happens. She shaved. Now it grows in full. You know, and you can get a situation where you put on a fake beard, but, you know, when you get a little kid sitting on their lap and tugging on it, you're not Santa. You're an imposter. Get him! So, yeah, the other leak of oaks is the danger. To have a fake idol god that doesn't exist, but only in statue form, to control Mormon behavior, for which they've expanded it throughout the world to control moral behavior according to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' standards and values. Right, YouTube? The community guidelines of YouTube is an exact pattern match for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The rest of the world wants nothing to do with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their fake morality. Why is YouTube forcing their viewers to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Oh, right, major stock investor in Google who own YouTube. Verified. The other leak was exposed last November from Oaks in 2020. In which, really, I knew when I started, oh my God. I knew when I started my new filing that I should have done it immediately, and yet, where are you? There you are. We owe our lives to Sister Jessica, who's gone missing. So Jesus is not real. You're supposed to get the right feeling about Jesus and obey the church leaders. So the brand new mission presidents who go around the world and lie to people through the little sister missionaries and the young boys, because they don't know anything about the gospel. So the perfect pawns to deceive the world. They read from a script and then share feelings. So he's telling these brand new mission presidents on March 14th, 2020, Saturday, Las Vegas, Nevada, that no one else in the church, and let alone the world, is supposed to hear. They're just starting their 3-year mission as mission presidents. And yet, President Marquis, naughty boy, rebel, just like Sister Jessica, who I want as a daughter. Can I adopt you? My other daughters were kidnapped and indoctrinated against me. He says in chiasmus, oh so clever, Oaks, this is not the end of the world. You do know what the end of the world means in Christian speak? Armageddon. Revelation chapter 16. But merely a test. Oh, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the enemy of mankind. They're going to destroy the world and blame Jesus for it. Yay, church is true. And there are Mormons who are falling for it, who are not living in reality, who are zombie, resurrected, apocalyptic murderers, thieves, and destroyers, just like their ancestral Danites from 1838. I keep repeating the information because each new video has a new audience because of the suppression and censorship of YouTube. Ordered by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the major stockholder in Google who owns YouTube. I see the threat to your lives. Mormons don't. Mormons vilify me, trying to save their lives. So Mormons, who never study their scriptures because they got the right feeling, have no clue what to expect for Armageddon. They have no clue that 2020 and 2021 being a test run for Armageddon, they have no clue that those types of things are what are being repeated this time around for the second coming of Donald Jesus Trump. Thank you, Daily Show. Those of you who have been following me know about that picture that I have. They're framing and blaming Jesus for what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is causing. Why? Because of the other leak from 2015. It's all in their head, and they say it's Jesus telling them to hurt people. Armageddon. To steal from people. To destroy people's lives. Jesus, obey or die. See, X-Phone never knows. You guys are way too soft on this church. Way too sensitive snowflake on this church. You are not nearly as scared of this church as you should be. It is a satanic death occult. That have fooled the whole world. And so, Oaks continues, yeah, that's why we did away with the high priests. That's why we did away with home teaching. We wanted to do away with the women's session of conference. Women complained after Travis did his video exposing it. But we put Mormons in their place. We can do whatever we want with the third session of Saturday conference. Yeah, technically. But you need to tell the truth to women that you're oppressing them, abusing them. You kind of need to be honest when you're teaching born and raised in the covenant Mormons or converts so that they know what they're getting into and then can make the choice. But the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints deceives people to become Mormon and then have a full documented record of you for which you can never leave them. Even if you leave them, even if you have your bishop submit the form to leave, they still have that form on record with your original record. You never leave this church. They know where you are because of Armageddon that's coming to destroy your life, to steal from you, to murder you. That's why they obsess with porn so much. With no-fap superheroes. To destroy the world. I mean, conform to Jesus. Their own will. And they will never tell you the truth, that it's their own will to take away your agency, to subject them to your will, or their will. This is pure evil, and it is taught to us in the wording of the exclusive Mormon scriptures. And yet, the very people who have this exclusive Mormon doctrine on Lucifer are the very people who don't give a damn and follow Lucifer instead. Because they felt good about it for you. So let's get caught up on the news that I got way behind on. Over the weekend, Florida airport was exposed by the Secret Service of having a shooting stand, a hunting stand. When you go hunting out in the forest, animals, they can smell humans and they run away and hide. So hunters will put a little stand up in the trees and sit and wait for dumb deer to come by. Deer caught in the headlights. And so this is what they claim they found at the Florida airport. And it was where Air Force One was. Well, in and of itself, that's a horrible thing. They could have shot the president. Yeah, but there wasn't anybody in the stand. That's the whole thing. There was no threat. There was just a shooting stand there. What was going on that weekend? The record-breaking, around the world, No Kings protest. For who? Exactly. This was a plant by Trump, exposed by the Secret Service, to garner sympathy for Trump, that yet again somebody's trying to murder him, and vilify all the No King protesters, so that he can have cause to come in and murder you with a slaughter, because you tried to assassinate him, even though you didn't. Still not catching on to how Trump works, huh? Okay. There will be those people. Utah are now seriously considering a state digital ID. I can't even begin to tell you how that is the worst idea in human history. But it's coming. Hamas has resumed the war. They refused to release all the hostages. They sent back a person that wasn't even a hostage. And then they got upset and started fighting again when Israel called them out on it. Not only that, but they were also to the 2,000 plus Gazans who were returning to their destroyed land because of Hamas, blaming Israel for it. They were also being brutally executed, public executions, to reinforce Hamas's authority over them. You sure you still want to blame Israel? The whole world? And yep, there were those news channels still. Israel has resumed fighting Hamas. The Gazan people are starving. They're refusing to let the aid in. Because you're giving aid and comfort to terrorists, making you the terrorist. Dumbass news. And so, to put it in perspective, one news coverage said that there were 560 tons of food for the 2K plus Gazans, and said that that's not near enough. In case you hadn't followed my channel over all these years, whenever there's a natural disaster in the United States of America, or even around the world, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will send 2 token truckloads of food for people whose lives are now destroyed. Two token truckloads. If 560 tons of food for 2,000 plus people are nowhere near enough, a natural disaster where 2,000 American citizens plus have their lives destroyed. Yeah, 2 token truckloads, huh? The church gives charity. They help the poor and the needy. I spit on the homeless person, that's water. Beggars can't be choosers. Satan, alive and well, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But it also is disturbing that what food are you giving them? Are you giving them seed? Not just the wheat grain or the barley grain or other grains? Vegetables and fruits with seed? Do you want them restored, or do you want them dependent on your corporation so that you can continue to give aid to them for the rest of their lives, so that you get money to support your lifestyle? Or do you want these people to live independently, to be self-sufficient, self-reliant for themselves, so that you are no longer needed as an aid group? Ooh. The con of charities in an economic system. So, yeah, the Hamas war is far worse than news will report. Trump has now declared war on Colombia because the president called him a terrorist or whatever name calling. He's fighting Venezuela, and Colombia stepped in. So now Colombia is the enemy. Probably the biggest story of the weekend, though, by far. Screw the Holy War in Utah. The Dodgers swept the Brewers and are going to the World Series. Yeah! Dodger Blue! There is only one truth in this world, and that's the Dodgers. See, that's a true fan, is that you're still loyal to your team for the rest of your life, like being Christian. Regardless of the criminal scandals by the new player, which it wasn't really him, it was the translator or interpreter guy that was with him. Nonetheless, I saw George and Mandy, their new spin-off series from The Big Bang Theory. No, it wasn't. It was Police Squad. Yeah, with Tommy Lasorda. Yeah, Police Squad. The short-lived series on TV that then turned into the movie series of Naked Gun. That's right. Yeah, Tommy Lasorda was getting his shoes shined. And that one skit in the show that they have repeatedly. And asking advice for his team. And the shoe shiner was talking about how Tommy needs to get a left-handed pitcher. He wasn't giving any names. It was as if he had never called him to the team yet. But I knew exactly who they were talking about. Fernando Valenzuela. It was awesome. It's going, Fernando Valenzuela. Oh my God. Just hilarious. So anyway, enough of that. I don't watch it. I just saw it in the news. I'm out of the game. I'm out of the loop. So anyway, still loyal. So yes, the loyalty goes back to the Brooklyn Dodgers too, in case you were wondering, because I know you were. Sandy Koufax with the change of the team to Los Angeles. And just still loyal despite the scandal of abomination of making them California Dodgers. What the hell are you thinking? California Angels. Dear God. I leave California to go live my life, and all hell breaks loose with the Dodgers. God. So, I'm deeply concerned by news, legitimate news, not tabloid news. I expect this from tabloid news, but legitimate news. And you've seen this in Utah too. Local news in Utah will do a story about the oldest living person and how they've lived a wonderful life. You know, more common when Nelson turned 101 and 100. And so I saw news coverage of how there's a person who's 117 years old, the oldest living person in the world. Well, wait a minute. The previous year, you did one about a person who's the oldest living person in the world at 105. So the person who is 117 was 116 last year when you said that the person who's the oldest living human on earth is 105. Questions about math? Stop it. Just stop. Quit lying to the public. Dear God. Dear God. Okay, so we can put that in that pile for another video day. Prince Andrew is stripped down to the bone. Ooh, I want to hear that song again. Or Blasphemous Rumors, that also is good. That, yeah, Blasphemous Rumors. That goes along with the theme better. Yep. He no longer is the Duke of York. Duke of York, Duke of York, Duke of York. Because he's in the Epstein files. He's a naughty boy. With the pictures of him with the little girl. Not just listed. We got the tapes of Prince Andrew and the little teen girl he was with. Little teen girl, they don't know. She's with a high-profile person. She thinks she's going to be the princess. And instead, she's a victim of sex trafficking. That's why little kids cannot make decisions for their life, especially concerning sexuality. That was Georgia Mandy. The Big Bang daughter, forgetting her name at the moment, rebels against mommy by forcing her boyfriend to go down to Mexico to marry him there. And then they're at the convenience store filling up with gas, and he doesn't have enough money for a bag of chips or whatever it was. So she's disappointed with him. You ruined it. Really? Yeah. Teenagers cannot live independently. It is a safety hazard. And I blame parents. Who refuse to raise their kids properly, to teach them how to live and leave the home, but expect the kids to leave the home once they turn 18 or 16 in Utah. Dear God. You're supposed to raise a kid in the manner in which they should be, and when they are older, they will not depart from it. But if you don't raise the kid, well, you have only yourself to blame. And you pass off your kids to daycare centers and to church. Public school system. And then you're upset that the kid's not what you wanted them to be. Bleep you, parents. Dear God. Leave your kids alone. So yeah, this is where the church preys upon parents in Mormonism to help force other people around the world too, is with the new technologies that each come out for movies, music, and books, is that the church vilifies them. To have people go back to the way things were, pure, wholesome, when your parents were complaining about how they worship the devil with this new technology of books. Books! It's of the devil! The only book is the Bible! Oh, paintings! It's of the devil, it's porn! Sculptures, porn! Yep, the creation of Christianity has always been that problem. So, Utah Congressman Mike Kennedy got caught with a Nazi American flag. And his excuse was, it was a gift. It's not my fault, it's a gift. You throw it away. Or you hand it over to the Secret Service or the FBI to investigate who sent you that. You don't get caught by the news with other congressmen who didn't throw it away or hand it over to the FBI for investigation. Mike Kennedy, Nazi, Satan, death, occult worshiper. Busted Kennedy. Yeah, Mormons have a Kennedy. Yep, Kennedys are everywhere. But here's Armageddon danger signal for you. Trump keeps playing his new AI computer game where it's programmed to target Venezuelan drug boats. He's reached the 11th level now, I think it is. This time there were survivors. He's got the video of the actual video game. With this latest one over the weekend, though, apparently it was a sub this time. But afterward, Trump apparently wanted the U.S. Navy Admiral to do something that he refused to do and therefore quit. That's what you need to pay attention to. Trump is giving out orders that there are still people who refuse to obey. So we will never know until hindsight what the U.S. Navy Admiral refused to do and quit over. You know, like James J. Hamula of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, former lawyer and former church historian. Removed from his Wikipedia page. Just like the Shanghai Temple scandal. Removed from Wikipedia after I did the video exposing that. Live. You know the church isn't true. When? Okay. Oh, yeah. There was a KSL News read it for you. In the ash of a burned Latter-day Saint church, she found God's hand. Oh my God, God is real, and he's dead. Do you see how Mormons don't make sense? They're not living in reality. Because, yeah, we know it's a spiritual thing. It's not actually God's hand severed from his body in the ash. It's the Christianizing of words in our vocabulary. All wrong, abominable, and corrupt. But what nobody gets is how stupid this is. And this is a psychological manipulation that psychologists do. Deal with it. Cope with it. Symptom management. So the church is gone, and she's blaming God for it. Ooh. To turn it faith promoting. No. Live in reality. Come back to reality. Call it what it is. Now, there's three churches, right? Or just a two of church burnings. It most likely is the Michigan one. I didn't watch it. But a human caused the burning, not God. God's will didn't go through that man to do that. And, during this tragedy, you've grown closer with a firefighter. Oh my God, that just triggered a whole bunch of memories from Rick's College. The women at Rick's College, the girls at Rick's College, purposely would cause a fire in their apartment so that they could call the fire department and have the firemen come over to hose them down. Put out the fire. Yep. They would also specifically order the groceries from that one grocery store on not the main street, because the main street goes that way. It's the other cross street. It's a main street there in Rexburg that deliver groceries to people, and specifically tailored to the elderly in the community that are of the rising number, so that the elderly can have better convenience in getting food. But the girls at Rick's likewise would order the food so that the male deliverer drivers would come over to deliver the food. Very sneaky. Why can't you just go up to the guy and say, hey, can we go and do something sometime? Can't we? So yeah, no. But that's this type of thing with this news article. That in tragedy, God is there. Where is that from? Wherever there is injustice, I am there. Whenever people are getting abused, I am on the case. I am on it. or something like that. I can't remember. Words, they're fundamental. We're all gonna die. So, yeah, I probably should get rid of these other pictures too. So Sarah Murphy with her spider fetish. I can see Sarah being Mary Jane in a new Spider-Man series. Yeah, I can see that. She would make a good Mary Jane. Yeah, Sarah, call me. Black Widow, wearing the black shirt, talking about spiders, how they're infesting Utah. Black Widow. Yeah, I can see you as a Black Widow too. Call me. I knew what I was getting into when I started dating her. It's my own fault. I am to blame. And so, yes, the No Kings protest is like a bunch of bees on the beehive. And then, oh my God, KSL, you really need to stop this fast. They get psychologists on their show with a new segment for the noon show, talking about how they're going to brainwash your viewers, the viewers of KSL, into the psychological manipulation of abuse. And so you've got this psychologist talking about being a joy stalker. Stalker? Really? So there's good kind of stalking? No, there isn't. Stalking is stalking. She is manipulating the definition of stalking to cope with it, to turn it to the good thing. It's good to be addicted as long as it's what we want you to be addicted to, not porn. It's okay to stalk as long as it's not actually the name joy. And so, yes, this is a psychological brainwashing that Oakes did, that I talked about. Finding light in every day. This is a disconnect from reality. This is psychology. They disconnect you from reality. And to help you with this, if you have problems that you can't get resolved by spending the rest of your life in therapy, they provide you with human experimentation by Big Pharma to murder you. Drugs kill. Big Pharma is no different. They're drugs. They kill. You not remember those commercial scandals? Ooh, we tied it all back together. Yep. Names that nobody knows what they mean because they're made up. With people in the background living a great happy life. The narrator reading the fine print of the symptoms for taking their drug. May cause death, anal bleeding, hair loss, erectile dysfunction, leprosy, spontaneous combustion. And so then they get sued by the people who were experimented on with this drug, and they settle, they pay out the money, and then they go back to the drawing board and slap a different label on the same drug and put it out maybe with a different commercial, with different people happy and living a great life. And there are those people who fall for it every single time. Because it's even worse in Utah, because it's state mandated through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who are the major stock investors in the pharmaceutical companies and the psychological companies as well. Not just having family services who do both.